Evening, and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Inbaal. I'm a psychic, tarot reader, and witch, and I'm broadcasting at you live right here from my home in the UK. Let me know where you are and where you're watching us from. Our whole channel, the Bigfoot Outlaw entire network, is a channel of esoteric programming. You're watching us right now, if you're watching live, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Twitch, and of course, YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube this way or that way, lengthwise or widthwise, portrait or landscape. They're actually different broadcasts. So if you see other people are watching YouTube, but they're not on the exact same channel as you, that's why. On this program, I'm going to be looking at the Tarot Major Arcana. A little bit more on that in a minute. First, let me check who's here with me. Initially, first of all, is Grizzly Chris, who is not watching right now, as far as I know. Although if you are, hi boss. Grizz runs the channel, and he says, you can support me by sending stars. Stars help me earn money to make more content. So make sure that you get involved. The more involved you get, the more you comment, the more you watch us, the more you share us, the more you're keeping us on air. Sabrina is here saying, hola, Inbaal. Hola, Sabrina. I hope everything is going all right today. Marcus is saying good evening, Inbaal, and as if you're around in the background, he's running around putting people to sleep. Hello to everyone else. Please remember to like and subscribe so you know when Inbaal and Co are on. And Katie is saying love from New York to all. As Big Grizz, I still have love life. Been woo, appreciate you all. We appreciate you back. We'll be doing some questions a little later, and you can ask about your love life if you want. Maria is saying hey, and she's already sent a question. So I'm going to start on the questions very, very shortly. Let me put, Maria, I'll put your question in a little folder on the side, and I'll get to it. That'll be the first one I do. Let me just make sure I put it in the little folder. There we go. And Katie is sending greetings to Grizz, saying, Big Grizz, let's get a longer chat. We can get those who resonate aligned. Absolutely. So Grizz doesn't actively produce this show. I do it, believe it or not, right here from the laptop. So I don't think he's watching, but I'll let him know that you sent him greetings. Sandy is saying hello and Inbaal, blessings from a soggy Devon. Oh, yeah. Yorkshire is very soggy as well. It was so rainy all day. And by the time it kind of stopped raining, everything was wet. Everything. Jackson VH Gaming VR is saying hello. Hello to you too. You never know with them. You and me both. Katie goes, I know, but I don't know that you know. Rob says, I lost people. Amazing. We have a good team. Katie goes, yeah. He knows all, loved you all always. Lots of snow and cold, New York. Yeah, I keep seeing like pictures of snow from friends in New York. It looks really intense. We do not have snow, but today when I was sort of driving to pick up my daughter from somewhere, I saw a gritter. If you're not in the UK, maybe it's called something else internationally, but the gritter is the vehicle that spreads like sand and salt, and it only happens ahead of snow. So I'm assuming that we've got snow on the way, just from my encounter with the gritter. Rob says, Okay, Sandy. Rob randomly says, Sandy, I think I have mixed you up with a different Sandy this entire time. Are you German? If not, I've been talking to you this whole time thinking you are someone else. Um, Katie says, I want to be a plow driver. No offense, man. Don't see many women and I'm picky. Yeah, you'd be an amazing one. What a wonderful career. In one of my old jobs, I used to sell watches. And this lady came in looking for a watch with like a huge clear face. And we had that. And she bought a watch that had like an enormous, basically white circle with very obvious, like clear font, black numbers. And the arms were like, thick and black. And she said, I need it for work. And I was like, what do you do? And she said, she's a bus driver. So when you're a bus driver, you've got to see like what the time is, but you can't really sort of turn to it all the time. And that was a lady, and that was nice. Rob says, one time a gritter drove past me and sprayed my whole car and chipped my windscreen. The audacity. I think we've all had windscreen mishaps with those. At least a couple of times I was running like out in the dark, and the gritter would drive past me and spray me. Like I'd be covered with that sand and salt. It goes in your teeth and everything. Oh, Cam is here saying hi, beautiful Inbaal. Love, Cam. Hi, hi, hi. Katie says, yes, Feb will be similar. Be ready. We speak to those resonate. New friend, worst case, just a four-wheeler with a plow. Blessings to those with such jobs, many kids, etc. Much respect. Yeah, I think it's such a calling. If you love driving and if you love kind of big heavy vehicles, that could be such a way to like fulfill your calling. Rob says, oh no, it comes out so fast and aggressive. Well, if you're going to come out, you want to come out fast and aggressive. No point drawing it out. Roger says, howdy, Inbaal. Howdy, Roger. Mark says, out in the dark. It will be summer soon. Yeah, it's the start of spring in a few days. And Katie says, many others have no more mailboxes. Shake my head. So what I thought would be fun to do today is focus on readings with only the major arcana. I was thinking in most cases it'll be like one card, maybe two cards, because the major arcana has such a lot of interesting symbolism in it that it can sometimes give us the whole answer with just the one card. So I'm going to separate the major arcana from the rest of the deck, and we're going to just sort of do little readings while we learn. We're going to look, we're going to learn, we're going to enjoy the symbolism and the richness of the major arcana. And I thought, rather than just limit us to the Thoth deck, which is my favorite deck, my top deck, and for my money the best deck, but rather than just limit it, I might put a couple of decks. So I've got the Rider-Waite-Smith here. So I can feel a sneeze trying to materialize in my nose. Don't be alarmed. Excuse me. Don't be alarmed if it pops out. So to those of you that are not super familiar with the tarot, which I think is none of you, but just in case we've got somebody watching us on catch up, or somebody watching us on repeat, and big shout out if anybody's watching us on repeat. The tarot as a system is made up of 78 cards. So a deck would be 78 cards with very, very few variations. Some decks have an extra card, an extra couple of cards, maybe even more, but 78 is like the tarot system. And So I've got the major arcana. The major arcana cards are the more dramatic cards of the deck. Look how stunning. And if the whole deck is 78 cards, the major arcana is just 22. 22 is a very special number, very magical number. So I've got the 22 of the Thoth separated, and I'm going to separate the Rider-Waite ones. Look, we've got Tower already. And then I think let's do some questions. I'm going to read the messages that have come in the meantime while I separate. So Katie says, it's fun. Let me do better job, PT, lol. Do some spiritual ways along my own as usual. Absolutely. I think a spiritual job is probably the easiest job to do alongside other stuff. And I think it's really beneficial to have something to basically pull you out of the spiritual mindset. Obviously, I'm not going to say that spiritual work is exhausting, considering there's people out there that do, actual physical labor and that put themselves at risk, for all of humanity. Obviously, those are exhausting jobs, but working spiritually can be very mentally draining. And so a lot of my psychic friends have a different career or a different job. A lot of artists or musicians or tool makers of some description. And then when you have that sort of mental drain that you can have from the psychic work, people that have another job, another career can go and kind of release, kind of liberate themselves from the drains of the psychic work. So that could be you, Katie. So I've separated. Oh, there she goes. So Katie says, gain our inner tunes, Black Madonna. Beautiful. So I've got the 22 major arcana cards of the Rider-Waite Smith deck. I've got the 22 major arcana cards of the Thoth deck, and I think we're going to do some magic here. Marcus says, I guess you can guess what I want to check on when it comes to questions being allowed. I'm not sure how you will do it, but I think it's right after Sunday's news. Yes, if you can think of a way to ask it, go ahead. If you can't think of a way to ask it, then I'll, figure out exactly how to get you the information that you need. Katie says, blessings. Sandy is clarifying for Rob, not German Rob, male from Devon. My favorite color is green. And if I win tonight, I would like world peace. Beautiful. You might not quite be the gender for those kind of pageants, but it looks like your heart is in the right place, and that tends to win the judges over. Lionel Clark is here saying, wait, messages got stuck for a second, saying, bless you. And Lionel goes, first time here. That's fun to know. Rob said, oh, wait. Rob says, put the tower back. Nobody wants it. I know. I love the tower. Katie says, can be. Energy is energy. True words, true words. Katie says, emotionally drained from us, them all, and mentally then drained can be. She says, wonder your thoughts on Black Madonna and if or where tarot related. And she adds, who are the blue beings or council of nine? And for the more love for all beings, do you think feel? I think the concept or the view of the council of the blue being is very similar to the kind of need for the divine that we all have in our human experience. So some may see it as the Council of Nine, some may see it as the blue beings, some may see it as a god figure, some may see it as angelic beings. It all speaks to the goodness of the universe, the goodness of the human experience, but names are just names, and images are just images. Rob says, Sandy, thanks for clarifying. Says, sorry, mix you up with someone else. Weird to now be like, nice to meet you after all this time. Nice to see you for who you are, I guess, is more fitting. That is beautiful. That's very much Aquarius season, isn't it? In Capricorn season, we were like certain that things were exactly as we thought they were. But in Aquarius season, everything is kind of its own adventure. Yeah. So that is a good question. Yeah. Going into ends emotions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with Maria, who I promised her would be first. And then we're going to jump straight to Marcus. If you've got questions, go ahead and send them in. We're doing this for fun together with everyone. There's no wrong way to ask for a reading. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be a simple question, a little question. It can be a complicated question. I do not mind. So Maria says, will I meet someone new in 2026, or will me and Philip be a couple again? So let's have a look between someone new or Philip or neither. It's always important to look at the neither, and look how fiery all of your cards are. Look at the explosive energy that comes out of them. And the thing is, I feel like you and Philip will catch up again. I feel like there is a future there. If you have a look, this is the Lover's card. So you and him are such a case of opposites attract, of completing each other, of that sort of polarity. But this is not the full story, because by the time you and him catch up again, you've already started something new with someone new. And I'm not even sure that you're going to want to have either of them as a long-term strategy. I feel like you're going to dip your toe and go, oh, I'm not sure. And, you're going to dip your toe elsewhere. Oh, not sure. And I feel like you may choose freedom and the right to do things the way that you fancy doing them. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I think is going on. Marcus says, right, so that's the question we're looking for. Let's see. How has N felt since 12th Jan until now, and how is he taking it, given I know it's hard for him and heartbreaking to say the least? I think that's a good way to ask. I think you're right. It is a good way to ask, because I know that what we want to know actually sort of runs much, much deeper than that. But in you asking in such a not generic, but kind of collectivist way, all-encompassing way, I think what that does is it gives the tarot the opportunity to give you more information where it wants to give you more information. So, how has he felt? And how is he taking it? Wow. First of all, I want you to see how similar they are. He feels like he's got to step up as man of the house. It has been devastating for him. See how those things look like two dads? So there's a real interesting analogy in his mind, which is exactly what we were saying earlier on in the week. He feels responsible, not obviously responsible for things having happened, but he feels like now he should step up and be the man of the house. And that is a huge responsibility, and it is causing him not strife, not anguish, but a real sense of growing up real fast. So it's kind of taking him both a little closer to the religion, but also a little bit questioning of the religion. So it's instigating, like initiating a whole bunch of complicated changes in him. But September's not far away. Katie says, Tower, many would agree. I've had worse association with the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, do you know, I don't mind the Tower at all. Five of Pentacles, I do not like. But it's each like a personal thing. If you're somebody that struggles with one part of your life, then the tarot cards relating to that part of your life will be the ones that you find challenging, but it could be completely different for somebody that finds other aspects challenging. Sabrina is greeting Mark. Marcus says thank you. Of course, I can answer it. Sabrina says, I'm listening while I'm working. It's been busy. I really hope that we're keeping you fun company. Katie says, I wrote one day years back and went to finish with signature as usual. I've got pics of the blue beings and signs corrected, wrote Council of 9, 3 dots now, always followed and always curious. So I don't know if you know the Thoth deck really well, but the 3 3s making a 9 is represented in the 9 of discs. I might be telling you something that you already know and that relates to it, but I want you to see it, and also for anybody else who is checking this out. So the Council of 9 could be, made of 3 lots of 3. See how this 9 is made of these 3, these 3, and these 3, and they're like dots, exactly like how you're writing. Isn't that crazy? Rob says 5 is rather unbalanced as a number, in my opinion, Katie. Pentagram not included. The whole point of the pentagram is to throw you out of the comfort zone. So it's meant to be, unbalanced-ish, but also balanced. Marcus says Aquarius season, never. Yeah, I can really feel it. Katie says, thank you, as Phil, you are from a love play space. As had a pick with blue serpent in hand, dog with blue eyes, 1 blue in star. Oh, that's nice. There's a lot of healing energy with all the blue. Rob is game, saying, I will take a fun little message. Anything general? Let's have a look. So, thought for you. General message for Rob. Guess without seeing. Guess what came up for you. We're only looking at the major arcana. If you guess correctly, I'm going to put it on the screen. Guess, Rob, what has come up? Like, what's the best that can come up? Right. Rob goes right with a negative, saying, was it the Tower? It was not the Tower. It was not the Tower at all. So, Rob, this is your card. So your general, sorry, I'm scrolling up so that I haven't missed my place. So your general shows that at the moment, luck is on your side. Take advantage of it. Luck is on your side. Things are coming your way. What you say goes. What you plan for succeeds. The card is, of course, the universe, also known as the world. It's number 21, which makes it the 22nd card, and it is the highest card in the tarot. So it shows that your general vibe at the moment is success. winning, positivity. I know you'd feel a lot more comfortable if it was like something dreadful, but this is all I can do for you now. Just the best. Katie says the 5 flew out a million times with a friend years ago as her at the end of a relationship. Sadly, it was true, took a bad hit to her. Yet, since it flew out a lot and didn't take action, the other actions occur. Yeah, 5. If the whole point of the 5 is that it throws you out of the comfort zone. So if she was in a relationship that was bad for her, and quite honestly, like the 5 would come even if she was in a relationship that was good for her, as long as it's about to change. Sandy says, a love rating, please, Inbaal, as a lady has a twinkle in her eye. Right away, thought I don't mind. Let's go with Rider Waite Smith in that case. So I'm going to take one major arcana card, right? We're experimenting with using just the major arcana. Lady with twinkle in her eye. Now we've got the Tower. So lady with twinkle in her eye is a distinct possibility, but I don't know how important for you it is that a partner should be normal, because she's not. And also, I don't know how ready you are for your life to turn upside down, because it will. So this is somebody that would be great for you, a lot of fun for you. You would enjoy it, really positive, but it's going to change a lot. Are you ready for change? Are you happy to take change on board? So Sabrina says, oh, I have a question. If I ask the other parent to switch weekends so that my daughter can go to my mom's 19th birthday party, will he give me a hard time, give a reasonable response? I thought that was all sorted because of that. Let's have a look. How will he react if you ask to switch? This is the Tower again. So he's going to be super unpleasant. He's going to be verbally abusive. He will say yes in the end. That's the thing. He's willing to say yes, but he really needs for you to beg. He really needs for you to sort of be the peacemaker and to promise him things for it. Do you know what? Let's change the question. How can you get that yes the quickest and easiest way? It's a better question. How can you get him to say yes the quickest and easiest way? Send child to ask. So it might not be the most educational way to do it, but send child to ask, and she will come back, bearing good news. Yeah, completely speechless. Marcus says, thanks for the answer, sweets. You're super welcome. Katie says, Robert, as we don't always see how it okays out in the unseen as sometimes, as such X here with Sandy, a sync name also. Hey, Sandy, as maybe, or how many do end up aligning and needing a reason's name? Do you know, I agree that, sorry, and there's the end of the end of the sentence. So talk, and now maybe have new friend. Also, Sandy, how beautiful. I really agree. I think sometimes if we bump into somebody that looks a lot like somebody we used to know, or if there is a match in the name, like what you just had, or if there is a match, I don't know, in anything that you can suddenly sort of notice about a person. They wear the same glasses as somebody else. They have the same main goddess as somebody else. Then sometimes it's like a quick connection where it tells you that this person has something to add to your life. Katie says 100%. She says, my birthday is 3/12/87. I appreciate as no, this is newer. Has never really looked into them, yet they have been spoken of more. I think they have been. I think there is more acceptance, more sharing of how different people sort of view things. And she says, thank you. Thank you. Marcus says, by the way, my hair. I know. Erwin says, hey, my lovely. Hey, Erwin. Goes, Erwin here. I'd love to ask. Yes, please go right ahead. Rob goes, was it the tower? Oh, yeah, that's from before. Sorry. And Erwin goes, how things will go with my new partner. Let's have a look for Erwin. So we're going to take one card with hopes. That is one of the productive ones, one of the nicer ones. How will things go for Erwin with new partner? Ah, a lot of love, a lot of comfort. It looks really, really sort of soothing, relaxing, positive. I actually feel like there might be either children or like fur children, like pet babies involved. So it shows a strong emotional connection, a lot of compatibility, and a lot of willingness to view things from the other person's perspective. So yay, congratulations. Rob is guessing 4. Marcus is the sun, the lovers. Rob is like, wait, star. Very nice. Katie says, yes, she was, and sadly physically was pushed uncomfortable, and it finally did end. My aura was beautiful, deep blue, yet after being pregnant had more green in aura. Now I'd like to see and get 2. Amazing. Marcus says that was guessing Rob's card. Yeah, I totally got that. I love that you were just sort of shouting at the screen. Katie goes, what's opposite of 5 of Pentacles? Lady Luck. I think so. For me, the 5 of Pentacles is an inability to speak, like holding back and not sort of speaking your truth. So the opposite might be the Magician, right? Because he's quite communicative, obviously with being Mercury. Maybe even the Fool, whom, he's not speaking, but he's very much living his truth. Katie says, beautiful card and a 3 here. Owen says, please, thank you. Yeah, we did. Anyone watching afterwards, or anyone listening to the show afterwards, make sure you watch us live, because when you catch us live, you can have your own questions answered. So Rob says, oh, the world, okay, stunning. That's really fitting card. We both know what that's about, don't we? Finally, at long last. Thank you. You've waited long enough. You worked hard enough for this to be possible. So, Cam says, can I have a reading for March? Thank you, Cam. Yes, you're already ahead of the game. February hasn't started and you're jumping in for March. Preparation is key. So we're just doing major arcana, and your card for March is really interesting. So this is the Thoth version of Temperance. But whereas Temperance is very gentle, bluish, quiet, this one is really noisy. And what this card showed, I'm thinking, is it Temperance? Wait, no, that's Judgment, isn't it? Sorry, it's I don't want to mislead anyone. Sorry. Judgment, like Judgment Day. So sorry. So just like judgment, this is kind of a rebirth, like a new beginning. But what I see often with this card is that people who related to each other in a certain way now relate to each other in another way. So this comes up when friends suddenly start dating, or when people who have been dating decide to get engaged, for example. So it's not so much the rebirth of like the whole person, but the rebirth of like aspects from their life. For March, this shows a new path. It shows a change in your routine. It shows a change like in your day to day, how you keep your routine. And it also represents kind of a personal growth on your part as well. So that is sort of quite a lovely card, one of my favorites, I'm not going to deny. Sabrina says, the universe, Rob, you got an awesome card. Yay. Katie, everybody's so happy for Rob. He's sort of really won the lottery of cards. Roy says, hi, Inbaal. I'd love a general reading too. And then he's questioning himself, going, or actually something more regarding love life, if possible. Let's see. So we're going to ask for Roy's love life. We're doing just major arcana. I've lost a couple. If you excuse me for a second, I'm going to dive and find them. This one escaped. I've trapped it, and I've got a couple more. Right. Now, Roy, love life. So we've got the devil. The devil is a card that represents fulfillment of desires rather than fulfillment of romantic wishes. And what it says is that you're at the moment a lot more interested or catering more towards passion rather than love. So love life might be like overselling it a little bit. This is certainly more about like the carnal side of life. But it's there. It's there. It's positive. It's for you. It's coming. So this is what's going on for the next month and a half or so. Katie says, hearing 21 days, sending hearts, blow up ego, and get your way, sadly. Sabrina says, it wasn't. I got my weekends mixed up. Easy to do. Sandy says, thank you, Inbaal, makes sense. Oh, I'm so pleased. And Katie says, or we meet people for some reason, even if it's to meet them, then meet another. It's some reason. Remember, it's for you versus not. I agree so much, Katie. The universe happens for you. It's not happening to you. I really, really agree. And my best friend, she said to me that she believes sometimes it's not even the person that has to meet the person, but it's your higher self, your guides and your angels would be having to talk to the other person's higher self, their guides and their angels. So there might not even be a real life practical reason why the two of you would ever meet, but your crew and their crew have got to have a little chat. Katie says, me signing Council of Nine was the first time hearing. Sabrina says, oh, so I'm not asking, he can go fly a kite. Yeah, he can. Sabrina says, thank you. I'll ask her if she would. Dislike sending her. I see why. It's just a matter of how important this is. Michelle is saying hello. Hi, Michelle. Erwin's back with feedback saying, wow, I can see already. We've got a lot to conceal. That's exactly what this is about. But there's a lot of emotions going on. Thank you, my lovely. You're super welcome. So the devil card is tied up with really sort of all the dark side of love, with addiction, with compulsion, with shall we call it when you just can't get enough of somebody, but it comes kind of in a mentally overwhelming way. We've got Michelle greeting Maria. Is it iShares? Am I saying it right? Saying hi. She says, finally got you. You did. Michelle says, can I have a general reading, please? Yeah. So what we're doing, Michelle, tonight, maybe today for you, is just experimenting with the major arcana to see how much information we can get from a single card. But that single card, if it's a major arcana, then that obviously sort of gives us lots more information. So little general for you. So Michelle, it says that you're already stepping into summer. Some of us are drowning. Some other ones of us are freezing, but it says that you're already sort of, at least mentally, stepping into the summer side of the year, the summer side of the summer season. And it says that you have a close friend nearby and that the two of you can really sort of create miracles together. It's joy, it's enthusiastic, and it is lucky. In this card, we've got potential, and potential is one of the most important elements here. See how this is a bit like an egg, right, with a yolk inside? And we have all the signs of the zodiac all around the perimeter. And so that potential can go in any direction that you decide for it to go. So yeah, let me know if that makes sense. So I shares, if I'm saying it right, says, what do you see Laith Al-Rawaji? What does he feel about me? Do you see anything between us coming time in terms of marriage? Let's have a look what we've got between you and Laith. Oh, right. No, so it's Aisha. Aisha is. Sorry, I was reading it incorrectly. But because Al-Rawaji, I was like, okay, that fits with the beautiful name Aisha. Anything between you coming in terms of marriage? We've got the devil coming up again. And I feel like you need to speak about commitment directly to Laith, because I feel like he might not be willing to give his whole self, to give over his whole self. And I feel like you might need to be more demanding and clearer about what you'd like to see from the relationship. Because when it comes to him, he's perfectly happy having, 4 toes in, but 1 toe out, just in case he decides to change his mind. I'm not happy with him at all. I'm not on board with that. I don't know if you are, but I feel like you need to have a clear conversation with him. Let him know that you have other options, even if you don't. Let him know you have other options, because I feel like at the moment, he's kind of, dancing around, telling himself he doesn't have to make a decision yet. And I feel like he's a little usy, Do you know what I mean? John Denbrin is here. I haven't seen your name in forever. Saying howdy all, God bless, Inbaal, on road listening, drive safe. And then Aisha very thankfully corrected me. Aisha, yeah, I got it in the end. Roy says, I'm pretty dense about tarot, but I do realize what you're saying with the card. It makes sense. Thank you. Sorry for being indecisive with my question beforehand. Indecisive is fine. Indecisive is fine. I do not judge. Roy says, hope things get more love focus for me pretty soon. Again, thanks. I hope so too. Michelle says, yes, I love summer, looking at plants and flowers to start in the spring. I think it really helps get through the winter. It helps get through the winter when you plan for summer, when you've got like your focus on summer. Marcus says, I'm back. Sorry, some weird thing happened to the internet on my phone. It killed me being here. Nice to be back. And Rob says, for him, Mark's YouTube has cut him off. Just announcing in case anyone's talking to him and he doesn't answer you. Michelle says, thank you. Grateful for you. And Sabrina says, oh, I love that card too. Do you know what? I feel like you have the same as me, that it almost doesn't matter which card it is. Like it would have to be something really, really special for you to not go, oh, I love that one. Like it's so rare for me to see a card that I don't think, wow, this is wonderful. It's like radical optimism. Daldal says, I feel this is going to be a major arcana year. More good than bad. I could not agree more. So first of all, we've got a 1 year. 2026 adds up to 1. So it is a year of new beginnings. If you've got any leftover stuff that needs getting rid of from last year, then, you know, that it's wrapping up just now. But also, we are about 19 days away from the start of the Chinese New Year. And we're going into Year of the Horse, are we not? And the Year of the Horse is determined. It's, you know, it pushes forward. It has like good values, good quality. So yes, it is a major arcana year. Aisha says, true. I see spark. Do you see that? It's not a matter of the spark that I was seeing. It's just a matter that he is not willing to decide his path. Aisha says, right. Marcus says, last 10 minutes, folks. So thanks to Inbaal for tonight. As always, remember to join Inbaal, Laura, and the kitties on Thursday morning, UK time, 11:30 a.m. So if you're watching from New York, it might be super early for you. Our show on Thursday, it'll be like 6:30 in the morning. And if you're watching us, say, from California, then for you, it's very, very crazy late at night for the night before. Rob says, I feel like you need to do a card for yourself. How's your 2026 going to be, Inbaal? If you want to share with us your adoring fans. Okay, let me do one for me too. So because I love the Thoth, I'm going to go with Rider-Waite-Smith. That way, it's in a way the deck that I know a little bit less, so there could be more surprises. Let's take my 2026 card. Justice. Very nice. So it's interesting because at the moment I'm waiting on like some legal papers, not exactly legal, but you know, but something to this. A lawyer is writing them, so it'll be amazing if 2026 was a win with that. That would be lovely. And this also stands for like contracts and stuff, and I have just already renegotiated one of my PR contracts. So this is, you know, this is already true. But if the rest of the year is like that, I'll take it. I love it. I know that it's sort of quite a boring card for a lot of people, but because I'm self-employed, my work life and then therefore my whole life is kind of chaotic. So what this card brings on is more of an orderliness, yeah. It is more tidiness. So contracts could be long-term work arrangements, contracts could be a new job for him, contracts could be agreements, you know, outside of what I already do. So I am super happy about that. Thank you, Rob. That's so sweet of you. Marcus says, thanks, Rob, for that. Inbaal, you, of course, and others. No, I did. I got your message. I already messaged. Rob says, I'm ready for the year of the horrors. That snake ripped the skin off rather aggressively. Yeah, snake was very snaky. Marcus says 21 days, 17th of February, cough, cough. And yeah, it's a horse. I thought it was 16th. So that was my mistake. 17, very, very special. Very, very special date. Paris Hilton's birthday, innit? Rob says, fab year for you. I actually think of you when I pull that card, cutting through nonsense and truth being truth. Love it. An all-round good card for your 2026. Nice. Yeah, I love it too. Sabrina's on board saying, Mark, is that someone's birthday? Yes, I guess it is. Oh, actually, Marcus, I think I'm awake for you. Awake. I will be awake some of it, but I think I'm away for your birthday. So we're going away on the 14th, coming back on the 21st. So I shall be far away. Sabrina says, I love all the colors. All the colors are fabulous. So thank you everybody for having Major Arcana fun with me. I enjoyed it so much. I love playing with the tarot. I love the Major Arcana. If anybody would like to deepen their understanding of the tarot, I'm available both for my course and for lessons one-on-one. And I would love to hear from you. All the details below show you how to get in touch with me. And if you need a reading, I'm usually available within a day or two. I appreciate you having lots of fun with me, and I hope to see you either on Thursday or this time next week. Also a good plan. Have a wonderful evening / night / afternoon, and I'll see you soon.